Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चातदेशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So welcome to this wonderful Bhagavad Gita class. And we were, I think, on the 34th, sorry, we were on the 34th shloka, where I think we were supposed to discuss, what do you say? We were supposed to discuss the 34th shloka, Tadvidi Pranipatena.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I think we discussed.
We discussed? Okay, fine. So we'll just quickly take a recap and move ahead. So yeah, so this is in the previous section we saw that what is the purposes of all these sacrifices. So the purpose of the sacrifice is that sins will be destroyed and yagnas will culminate into jnana also. And then the method, result, and the glories of attaining this particular jnana. So what is the method of attaining jnana is actually this process of attaining jnana is from a guru. By surrendering to the spiritual master, by inquiring from him, and by serving him. It is said that we should not have blind following and we should not have any absurd inquiries also from the spiritual master or from the Vaishnavas. And not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must inquire to get a clear understanding from him and render service to him. And that's how we get perfect knowledge. Now, from the 35th shloka to the 38th shloka, he will say that what are the results of and the glories of this jnana. So, if somebody is taking knowledge, what is he going to gain? Or if somebody is taking knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, what is he going to gain? So he's saying that Yad Jnanvatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshani drakshasyaatmanothopai. He says, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are part and parcel of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. So somebody read this.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare.
The result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The sense of any existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Ma, not Ya, this. Something that we have nothing to do with Krishna, that Krishna is only a great historical personality, and that the Absolute is the impersonal Brahman. Actually, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of everything. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated clearly that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Even the millions of incarnations are only his different expansions. Similarly, the living entities are also expansions of Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that Krishna loses his own separate existence in his many expansions. This thought is material in nature. We have experience in the material world that a thing, when fragmentally distributed, loses its own original identity. But the Mayavadi philosophers fail to understand that absolute means that 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, and that 1 minus 1 is also equal to 1. This is the case in the absolute world. For want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion, and therefore we think that we are separate from Krishna. Although we are separate parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless not different from him. The bodily difference of the living entities is Maya, or not actual fact. We are all meant to satisfy Krishna. By Maya alone, Arjun thought that the temporary body relationship with his kinsman was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. The whole teaching of the Gita is targeted towards this end, that a separate living being, as Krishna's eternal servitor, cannot be separated from Krishna, and his sense of being and identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living entities, as separate parts and parcels of the Supreme, have a purpose to fulfill, having forgotten that purpose, since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as men, animals, demigods, etc. Such bodily differences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. But when one is engaged in transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this. Hare Krishna. From this, sorry, no. Mataji, one step up, I think.
Illusion.
One becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge only from the bona fide spiritual master and thereby avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. Perfect knowledge is that the Supreme Soul, Krishna, is the supreme shelter for all living entities, and giving up such shelter, the living entities are deluded by the material energy, imagining themselves to have a separate identity. Thus, under different standards of material identity, they become forgetful of Krishna. When, however, such deluded living entities become situated in Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that they are on the path of liberation as confirmed in Bhagavatam 2.10.6. Mukter hitpan yatha rupam swarupena vyavasthita sthite. Liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Krishna. Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So, this verse will actually talk about what is the effect of knowing about the spiritual master. So, when we come to know about the spiritual master, that knowledge will actually liberate us. So, there are two aspects to this particular shloka. It says that firstly, you will not fall down into illusion again. Okay. And then what will happen? You will see that all living beings are but part of me only, or the Supreme Lord. So he says that yad gyatva, he's saying that after you know this, he says na puna moham you will not go into illusion again. You will not be put into illusion again. And he says that evam yasyasi Pandava. He says that right now even you are in an illusion, and you will also not go into an illusion again. And then he's saying yena bhutani asheshani. So all living entities, ashesha means not shesha, means not anyone remaining, actually, he says. And he says that drakshasi, he says to see, means you will be seeing. And atmani athayu mayi, he says that you will see them as spiritual, or you will see them as mine, or you will see them as my part and parcel, as such. So this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is talking about his own relationship with the living entity, in the second chapter also, Papa, pelu જાડી પછી પેલું એ છે ઓપન કરીને પછી પાછું બંધ કરી દો, then you will bang your head over there. So he says that when Krishna is talking about the soul, he does not talk about the relationship of the soul with the supreme soul. He does not mention that, okay, fix your mind on me in the second chapter. And in the third chapter, he says, offer your work to me. He has said that have faith in me. In the second and the third chapter, he says that please have faith in me. But now he has not, so till the second chapter and the third chapter, he has said that have faith in me, but he has not explicitly stated what is, our relationship with him eternally. And here Krishna is saying that those living entities who are free from illusion, they will see all the living entities as spiritual. So illusion means what? That I am different from Krishna, or Krishna is separate from me, or I am separate from Krishna. So Atmani. So in this context, Bhagavad Gita, in this verse, is saying that Krishna is saying to Arjuna that you alone are not concerned about, either Bhishma or Drona. Even I am equally concerned about them, because they are also mine. They are also my part and parcel. They are also my children. And that is why I am concerned about them. And what am I telling you to do? I am telling you to do about them what is best, for them. And he's saying that please don't see this with an illusionary, vision, that they are just your relatives. No. So that is why don't see them as a temporary relationship. They are souls, and souls have eternal relationship with Krishna. And that is why these all people are mine only. So just as I'm concerned about you, Arjuna, I'm concerned about them also, because they are also my part and parcel. So Krishna is saying that there'll be two results of Gyan. One is no more illusion. And secondly, you are saying that all these living beings are in Krishna, and they are Krishna's. Like they belong to Krishna. So after this, Krishna will tell that how this change takes place. And Prabhupada, here in the pulpit, he says that whatever sense of existence you have, which is separate from Krishna, is called Maya. Ma means not, and Ya means this, not this. So when we see Maya, we see everything as connected to Krishna. And that is why we become free from Maya. We know that every living entity or everything belongs to Krishna. And even I belong to Krishna. So even the millions of incarnations of Krishna that he takes in different millenniums or in different universes, there are millions of universes. So millions of expansions of Krishna. So it is a different expansion. So we should also see all his incarnations as a part and parcel of Krishna only. So this vision that everything is connected to Krishna is actually real spiritual knowledge. And that is why Prabhupada in the purport is saying that, these bodily differences, they will arise only from, what do you say? Just give me a moment. When he's saying that these differences will arise only from forgetfulness of our transcendental relationship, relationship with Krishna, service to the Lord. So when one is engaged in this transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, then one at once becomes liberated from the delusion. And that is why he says that muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vivasthita. So mukti means what? Liberation means to be situated in our own constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Krishna. And actually that is real Krishna consciousness. So currently living entities are in different bodily forms. Somebody is a human being, somebody is an animal, somebody is a demigod. And these are hitva anyatha rupam. So when one will give up and will be situated in this swarupam, so because currently he is anyatha rupam, but right now will be situated in swarupam, then he will be liberated. So now Krishna will tell the process by which it happens. It's such a great process by which anyone and everyone will be liberated, no matter how sinful that particular person will be, still that person will be liberated. So in the next shloka, he'll say that Api ched asi papebhya sarvebhya papakrutam sarvajnana plone vaiva vrijanam santarishyasi. So he's saying that even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So here he is saying that all your sins will be destroyed because this boat of knowledge makes even the most sinful among the sinners cross the ocean of sins and miseries. So let's read the purport, what Srila Prabhupada has to say. Somebody read the purport. Kalyani, please read the purport.
Yes. Proper understanding of one's constitutional position in relationship to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lift one from the struggle for existence, which goes on in the ocean of nuisance. This material world is sometimes regarded as an ocean of nuisance and sometimes as a blazing forest. In the ocean, however expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. Perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time, the most sublime.
Yeah. So he says that api cheta asi. Even if you are papebhyam, the most sinner, and papakrit karma, so even the greatest sinner, and what will happen with you? All your sinful reactions will will vanish away when you take the boat of this transcendental knowledge. Jnana plavena. Plavena means boat. And the transcendental knowledge. And then you will be able to cross over all the Vrujinam, whatever oceans of miseries we have in our life, we'll be able to cross. And Santarishyasi. Rishyasi means you'll be able to cross it completely. Aisa nahi ki you halfway you come and then, not that way. So he's saying that this particular knowledge, what will happen is, it will destroy your sins. Let's see the next shloka, what Krishna has to say. He says that not only it will destroy your sins, but it will also destroy all the reactions to your sins. He says that यथेधांसि समिद्धोऽग्निर् भस्मसात् कृते अर्जुन ज्ञानाग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कृते तथा. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burns to ashes all reactions to material activities. Somebody read the purport.
Perfect knowledge of self and super-self and of their relationship is compared herein to fire. This fire not only burns up all reactions to impious activities, but also all reaction to pious activities, turning them to ashes. There are many stages of reaction. Reaction in the making, reaction fructifying, reaction already achieved, and reaction a priori. But knowledge of the constitutional position of the living entity burns everything to ashes. When one is in complete knowledge, all reactions, both a priori or a posteriori, are consumed. In the Vedas, Bhadranyaka Upanishad 4.4.22, it is stated, Ubhe yuhavaisa eti tratye amartha sadva asadhuni. One overcomes both the pious and impious reactions of work. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So, if we have this spiritual knowledge, it will elevate us, right, above this misery, and eliminates also this misery, right? So, the Bhagavad Gita is using two metaphors for illustrating this. There is a transformational potency of spiritual knowledge. It is using a boat. It's saying that just as a sturdy boat helps us to cross an ocean, so then this boat of spiritual knowledge helps us to cross over the ocean of misery. In the 36th shloka, he's saying that. And just as fire will reduce the, debris put into these ashes, so the fire of transcendental knowledge will reduce the impurities also into ashes. So he says over here that these two metaphors actually, they are actually progressive, basically. That how spiritual knowledge's potency is, progressive. So because after we cross over this ocean, it still remains as it is. But when we burn something, then it will no longer remain as it is. It is completely destroyed to ashes. Isko tehs nehs kar dega, hai na? And when we learn, okay, when we learn to live this spiritual life and we become, absorbed in our spiritual activities, and we know that, okay, we are connected to the Supreme Lord, and what is our spiritual identity, what is Krishna's identity, what is our relationship with Krishna. So such absorption will enable us to tolerate the miseries, and it will also help us to transcend the miseries of this world. And even when those miseries continue to exist, you know, uh, that will help us. So it is helping us elevate our consciousness. What is helping us? The transcendental knowledge is helping us elevate our consciousness from the material level to the spiritual level. And this spiritual knowledge is elevating us above misery. Now you see, whenever in the temple, when you go and you're hearing a Bhagavatam class, right? What is happening is you forget everything. What is happening in your home, in your office, with your children, with your in-laws, with your parents. You forget totally everything, because that spiritual knowledge, at least for that moment or for that 1 hour, it is actually elevating our consciousness from a material level to a spiritual level. So simultaneously, the spirituality, is addressing the cause of misery by eliminating that misery. And uh, most of our miseries is caused by our own impurities, like some impulses are there, or some superficial desires we might be having, or some anxieties we have, or some negativity we have. So these impurities, they are residing within us only. And what are they doing? They're impelling us towards self-destructive actions. So when we live uh, a life of spiritual knowledge, so then that blaze of knowledge, जो अग्नि की दहक है, that blaze of knowledge, it will burn away all our impurities, and it will enable us to avoid any self-defeating actions, and it will help us to do something constructive. It will help us to choose some constructive actions. Pehle, whatever actions we were doing it for our own sense gratification. But now, whatever actions we are doing it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Be it cooking food, or going out and earning, or raising children, or going to some parties. Even if since our party, when we go, what we do, we take some books and we go, right? And we turn that party into a spiritual party for us, that okay, we went and did some book distribution and we came back, right? Even it might be 2-3 books at least, like, or we invite people to temple. That is also Krishna conscious activity. So just as the ocean remains, so to uh, this material ocean is actually a place of distress. But when we will internalize this spiritual knowledge, then many of our impurities will actually many of our inner impurities, those impurities which will uh, increase our distress, and decrease that substantially, and even become eliminated. So it will mold our life according to spiritual knowledge, and it will take us even beyond the misery. So there is both. There is elevation also to the higher level, and there is elimination also. So you are elevated because most of your sins are eliminated, and it will burn to ashes all the reactions of all material activities. Even punya also it will destroy. Why it will destroy punya also, or piety also? Because piety also will take us to the heavens, right? And our aim is not to go to the heaven. Our aim is to go to the spiritual world, to Golok Vrindavan. So it will destroy that also reactions of piety as well. And then in the next shloka, he's going to give us something very interesting. Krishna, see, when we try to understand in a more deeper way, as in when we keep on reading, the more we can go into more deeper level, where he says that nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram miham vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalenatmani vidanti. He says that in this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. Anyone who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So, why will he enjoy? Because he's saying that this knowledge is pavitram, purest. And in due course of time, it is attained of itself from within. अंदर से ही ये ज्ञान प्रकाशित होगा. By mature practice of what? By mature practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga. He's saying Yoga Samsiddhim. So when we are practicing Nishkam Karma Yoga, at that point of time, what will happen is all this will vanish away. So he's saying that when in the, so he's saying that this particular subliminal, so an obstacle that is blocking a particular you can say a big vehicle or maybe a truck, it can be broken through if that truck will acquire a particular momentum, right? So there are some conditioning that is blocking our self transformation also, and that can be broken through sufficient momentum and building momentum. So like, see, even when we're chanting in the morning, right? So what happens is that when initial round that we chant, it's not picking a momentum, but the third and the fourth round when we start, there is a little momentum that we pick up by the third and the fourth round. So building momentum, it does not require anything mystical. It is just requires that we are in that particular motion of chanting and doing some desirable activity. We are doing consciously and we're repeating that activity again and again. So we can develop that necessary momentum to overcome the obstacle, such as lethargy or apathy that is arising from our conditioning. So of course we are lethargic in chanting. Okay, let us for example, I am very lethargic in chanting. So what I do is that I will chant, but I will chant at a little faster pace so that I know that I'm not lethargic. If I chant this way, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it is very much possible that the mind will run away somewhere. But if I'm at a medium pace, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. So this is actually momentum, and this will not actually put me into a lethargic state. So we sometimes put off, improving ourselves, thinking that, our conditioning will make the self-improvement unsustainable. We wait for some, dramatic inspiration or some life-changing thing or something, something should happen into our life, and then we will, take that, momentum or transformation as such. So, but what we have to do is we have to just take some small steps, another small step, another small step. So, such baby steps when we take, that is why Krishna is saying that in the due course of time, he is saying. That is why he's saying in the due course of time, he's using this particular word. So, we will discover that we have covered a substantial distance, right? And whatever obstacles we had, which were, very difficult to overcome, these will turn out to be, more, easy to overcome, you can say. So, if you see our Bhagavad Gita, it is encouraging such purity or such practice for applying transcendental knowledge, and it is helping us redirect our heart from these worldly things to the spiritual things. And it is saying that in fact, it is declaring also, Krishna is declaring very boldly. He's saying that nothing is as pure as transcendental knowledge, and it is assuring that applying this knowledge, we will get sublime inner happiness in due course of time. So this is a guarantee, this is an assurance that Krishna is giving us. And it is actually saying that we just need to strive for applying this knowledge, one day at a time. So maybe you can say even one moment. And that is why if you see His Holiness Burijan Maharaj, he says that is Burijan Maharaj, not Giriraj Maharaj, is Burijan Maharaj. Burijan Maharaj says that you learn to hear the mantra at a time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One mantra at a time. So one baby step at a time, he's saying that. Even one moment at a time, you can say, that, okay, I'm very lazy about reading books. So, okay, 5 minutes I will read Bhagavad Gita daily. 5 minutes. 5, 5, 5. After 15 days, I will build it up to 10 minutes a day. 10, 10, 10, maybe 20 days. 20 days later, I'll build it up to 15 minutes a day. And that's how, by moving from moment to moment, we will be doing self-improvement. We can build up a very significant momentum and overcome our conditionings, and we can relish that lasting fulfillment. So that is why he's saying that the purest of pure. And of course, we don't, like for example, a child who wants to become a long jump champion, he needs to take some tiny jumps that, which are ordinary tiny steps. But for that child, those small jumps are, practical jumps, and they are, valuable steps forward also. So whenever we strive to achieve something worthwhile, we might fail, but that failure should not dishearten us or depress us. And to avoid such depression, we need to recognize that more important than success is actually progress. How much am I progressing? Success के पीछे मत भागो, progress के पीछे भागो. So if we develop a steady momentum of moving from where we are towards where we want to go, then sooner or later we will definitely, reach there where we are meant to be. So we have different natures and talents and circumstances. Based on these natures and talents, we will all have a starting point. What may be easy for someone else may not be easy for me. And if I disregard or deny this reality, then I will come to one of the two sides of that coin. Either, I'll go to the ego-induced temptation, or though I'm so great, and I don't need to do anything, or I will go into depression that, oh, I'm so worthless, I'm not good for nothing. So to to resist such temptation, we need to depress our expectations. So depressing our expectation does not mean that we go into a lethargic mode, or we apathize. It means that uh, you know it simply means that we are acknowledging that I have a long journey to go, and I need to take some small and steady steps, and I don't need to take big leaps. Okay, so that this attitude of you can say a very humble, realistic, realistic way for our present situation, and the capacity we have will build will what will it will do, it will help us build that momentum of steady progress, and it will eventually help you for progressing further in life, and help you get success. So uh, mm, then this spiritual growth that we have, where in this shloka it is said that this ability to relish inner happiness through spiritual knowledge or real knowledge will develop over time. It's not like that in one day you're reading the full Bhagavad Gita and finish Hari Bol, like not that way. uh, uh, you know it is urging us to help us to bring the mind again and again towards spirituality, and without having some unrealistic expectations, that okay, in one night only I can have full spiritual absorption, so I will read the whole of canto 1, I will read the whole of Bhagavad Gita, and I'll get no, so such we cannot expect such unrealistic expectations. So mm, uh, slow and steady, sustained practice will eventually make us, pacified. It will purify us also, and it will satisfy us also. So we so we should not have many high expectations. When you depress your expectations, then when you depress your expectations from success to progress, then we can resist the temptation of that depression, and we can progress towards that particular success. So that is why we should not uh, you know depress ourselves more, that oh, I'm not good for nothing, and uh, and we should not depress our expectation also from ourselves. No, no, I'm not good for nothing, yaar, mere se nahi hoga ye. No, everything is possible. Impossible itself says that I am possible. So now these are the results and glories of Gyan. Okay, so that we will not be bewildered, and it will bestow us pure vision, and it will destroy our sins, and it will destroy all our reactions, and which is the purest. But now, what is the role of faith in acquiring this Gyan? Krishna will be discussing that. So he says that श्रद्धावा लभते ज्ञानम तत्पर संयतेन्द्रिय ज्ञान लब्ध्वा परम शांतिम अरि अचिरेनाधिगच्छति. He says that a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So see, the whole mood of Srila Prabhupada starting this Bhakti Shastri course or the Bhakti Vaibhav and the Bhakti Vedanta course is this only, that he wants that we should achieve supreme spiritual peace. And that is why we have so many levels of transcendental knowledge, from the Bhakti Shastri to the Bhakti Vaibhav to the Bhakti Vedanta to Bhakti Sarvabhauma. We have these levels so that the living entities achieve spiritual peace. So he says that do you feel God or do you trust God? Because see, when he's saying that Shraddha labate jnanam tat param sayam yatendriya, saying that knowledge is attained by one, firstly, who has faith in the scriptures, secondly, who has a dedication in the process, and process of Nishkam Karma Yoga, of course, and then the third is who has sense control. संयम संयम, जिसके पास संयम है ना, संयम्यता इंद्रिय, one who has controlled senses. And then he's saying that jnanam labdva param shantim. So one jnanam labdva, anybody who has achieved this jnana, such knowledge, then what happens? Param shanti. He quickly attains that supreme spiritual peace. Okay, so when he's saying that, when you have faith, so somebody might just ask that, okay, people say that, I'm a very rational person. I don't accept irrational ideas and such as faith. So actually, being rational is a very important tool in our human search for understanding the reality. So, of course, it is not the only tool, but even in science, where science also is proud of its rationality. Many major, breakthroughs have come not through rational, but of course, they have done a step-by-step analysis and a step-by-step analysis through inspiration. And it has taken, small leaps in understanding. So it took a substantial amount of years or even decades, you can say, to fructify that inspiration that was revealed. Okay, so an inspiration will give real knowledge, and it will exemplify ways of knowing that, transcendental reason also. So there is actually, there is reality and there is rationality. So rationality works as a way of knowing, because we have, rational intelligence, and, we think in a very rational way. So faith is not irrational. It is rational. It is a rational acceptance or receptivity to relate that both the superside and the underlying, rationality, that how science is progressing, through rational ways, and how is the rational, the rational. So that way, faith is actually rational. So when you have this bridge, okay, so faith is a bridge between one finite reason and Krishna's infinite reason. So some people say that, okay, can a rational person believe in God, and why should we be rational? Why should there be a rational order for the functioning of this nature? And so there might be many, actually, science investigations on the nature and with faith and all that. But when science does it, it can't discern the order in a particular phenomenon. So no. So when Krishna gives us a reason, we are meant to use it in a mood of service, to service to Krishna himself, only to understand things as much as possible. But when we can't understand anything, then we need faith that, okay, Krishna has a plan and Krishna has a purpose. And with that faith, we stick to, our, God-given purpose of serving him. We eventually discern his sublime plan for our own ultimate benefit. And that is why faith opens the door to knowledge. There is a saying, that faith will open the door to knowledge. So this faith is bridging the gap between our finite reason and Krishna's infinite reasons to take up to bhakti. So this is where, this particular person who has faith, who has shraddha, can attain jnana. बिना श्रद्धा के ज्ञान क्या अर्जित कर सकते हैं, right? So, okay, sorry, we'll just read the purport. We didn't read the purport, right? Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So imagine this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is giving us faith in Krishna, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Above and all this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and he controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Shipram bhavati, turanthi, as fast. So now in the 40th shloka, he is saying that who cannot attain knowledge or jnana? Okay. So of course, if Shraddhavan labhathe jnanam, then what will happen? I know. Ajnana ashraddhanascha sanchayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na paro na sukham sanchayatmanam. So this particular person, one who is doing samshay, uska kya hoga? Vinashyati. He'll fall down. And this person, nayam loko asti na paro. For one person who is doubting, then there is not asti na paroi, there is no happiness. And where na sukham samshayatah, so there is no happiness in this world or the next birth also. So let's read the translation. But an ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Ajnanas ashraddhanascha. Firstly, ajnanas. Ajnanas means the ignorant person. And ashraddhanas, this faithless person. Okay. And then samshayatma, one who is doubting again and again. तो क्या होगा उसका? विनश्यति हो जाएगा. We will fall down. है ना? विनश्यति. विनाश हो जाएगा उसका. And then he is saying that nayam loko asti na paro. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So when I am saying ajnana, okay, ajnana means ignore, when I'm using this ignoring the word, it is saying that it is foolish like the animals with no knowledge and faith. And when we are saying ashraddhana, or those who are faithless, ashraddha those who are faithless, has the knowledge of the shastras, but what is happening is there is mutual disagreement of the various theories, and he has no trust in them. In spite of taking knowledge, there is some disagreement, and that is why he has no trust in them. And then this person who is a doubting soul, Samshaya Atma, he has both knowledge also and faith also. But he is doubtful whether the process will be effective for him or not. Samshay. So why will a person do samshay? Why will a person do doubt? Because when he is not following the process, he will doubt the process. If I am following the process with full shraddha, then I will not doubt the process. And you will see that there are many people, what they do is that say for example, one person says that I'm eager to learn more and I respect the speaker, and the other person says I suspect that this speaker I doubt this speaker, and this I think that this subject is not worth for further explanation. So there is a prashna and there is a samshay. So so you will have doubts also, and you will have questions also. So what is the difference between this doubt and question? So as I said, question means I'm eager to learn more, and I respect. So when we are hearing a spiritual talk, and sometimes somebody will raise his hand in the Bhagavatam class and says I have a doubt. So what they usually have is actually a question, prashna. It is actually not the doubt. He's not doubting the speaker. He's having a question or a query which he wants to clarify whether his understanding about the subject matter that is being explained in the Bhagavatam class is appropriate or proper or not. So this both question and a doubt, they convey a present lack of clear understanding, and they actually differ in very they in fact you can say drastically differ in their approach to dealing with that particular question. So when someone has a question, uh, you know uh, uh, and he has this eagerness to learn, and when he respects the speaker, he couples it up with actually the respect of the speaker. So what is he doing is that he's able to further learn. But in contrast, when someone has a doubt, he has an implicit samshay on the speaker, and then he's judging also the speaker. So then he will not understand that subject matter, and he's not able to even study it further. So given that doubts have this negative connotation, so Bhagavad Gita is actually saying that please do not have any doubts. Doubts are like demons, and doubts are like demons, and these demons need to be slain or cut off by the divine empowerment. So we say that doubts are like demons, and we need to clear those doubts, otherwise we'll keep on doubting. So the Gita's position what is actually Gita doing? Gita is positioning doubt as the opposite of faith. And it states that faith is a launching pad for knowledge. And when we use it, in the faith, when we say that, of course, I have faith in the Shastras, I have faith in the spiritual master. So this faith is only the liberating power for us. So the liberating power of doubting our doubts, or you can say dealing with doubts, you can say that in we can say that sometimes, in the medical term also we say, no, oh, doubt is a disease, that it will make the patient also think that, hey, this doctor is actually sick and he's thinking that I am sick. So if I'm rejecting the doctor's advice and I'm arguing that, no, I'm not sick, actually the doctor is sick. So that particular patient will be said to be mentally sick. But suppose this patient, is infected by a germ that could make him believe that, okay, the doctor is sick. So then that would be really, dangerous for that particular patient. So fortunately or unfortunately, there are many people who are prone to this germ, and that can affect our spiritual well-being also. It can make us spiritually sick when we are doubting. And that is why when we are on the spiritual path, we need to repose our faith in the existence of a higher spiritual reality. When where that, yes, Krishna is there, and there is a path which will take me towards the highest goal, and this path can help me experience the reality. And if we keep on doubting, that spiritual path, then it will not help us give something substantial. So doubts, actually doubts don't actually deserve our trust. We need to doubt our own doubts. That whatever I'm doubting, am I doubting it correctly? Or, do I need to go and refer back to the Gita? Because the Gita is, the Bhagavad Gita is providing us a very powerful source. It is giving us a very profound philosophy, that it is giving us a time-tested process where we will be experiencing some transformative experiences. So we should not, this is time tested. It is being time tested right from time immemorial. And that is why we don't doubt. And what happens is that when we are doubting now, what will happen? When we doubt, it is actually gripping us. And when we are gripped, that time what we do is we neglect all the resources, and then we start looking down, upon everybody. And we think that, okay, we are not, we think that we are not as gullible as them, that we are, intellectually super, because we have higher critical faculties also. So that is why we can protect ourselves from being deluded by doubt if we understand that how it is operating, and we can equip ourselves with those reliable resources also. So the moment we have a doubt, what we do is we immediately go to our superiors and clear that doubt. We don't doubt the Vaishnavas, we don't doubt the spiritual master, we don't doubt Krishna, and we don't doubt the existence also. So doubt is like a very deadly, you can say, infection. So if we feel superior, then we should best deal with that feeling that, okay, I should know that I am inferior and I am not superior to. So next, let's go to the next. So then he says that, okay, one who does not, one who can attain gyan, who cannot attain gyan, and then, okay, if I have gyan, then what will I do? What will happen to me when I get this gyan? Then he's saying that you will be free from the reaction of your work. So he says that yoga sannyasata karmanam jnana sanchinna samshaya atmavantam na karmani atmavantam na karmani nibadanti na dhananjaya. So he says that yoga sannyasata karmanam. He says that one who is renouncing the fruitive actions of his karma by karma yoga, he's saying that jnana sanchinna samshayam. So his doubts have been destroyed by knowledge. And then he's saying that atmavantam na karmani. One who has realized that self, then he is not bound, na karmani, he is not bound by. But he's not bound by what? Ni bandhanati dhananjaya. He is not bound by the reactions of his work. What he's saying that one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions and whose doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work. So, he is saying over here that such a person is not bound by the reactions of his work. And then he says that in the next shloka, he says that he is actually he's inspiring Arjuna. He's saying, okay, because of all these reasons, you rise and you fight. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam ritastham jnana sinatmanam chitvena samshayam yogam atishtotishtashta bharatah. He's saying that tasmad ajnana sambhutam. So therefore, cutting all the doubts, ritasitam jnana sinatmana, which have arisen from ignorance with the sword of knowledge, armed with yoga, you rise and you fight. So here he's saying that, let's see the translation. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So there was ignorance can be cut only with the weapon of knowledge. So we'll just read this particular purport. Somebody read this purport.
Hare Krishna, Mata, should I?
Yeah. Sure.
The yoga system structured in this chapter is called Sanatana Yoga, or eternal activities performed by the living entity. This yoga has two divisions of sacrificial actions. One is called sacrifice of one's material possessions, and the other is called knowledge of self, which is pure spiritual activity. If sacrifice of one's material possessions is not deviated for spiritual realization, then such sacrifice becomes material. But one who performs such sacrifices with a spiritual objective or in devotional service makes a perfect sacrifice. When we come to spiritual activities, we find that these are also divided into two, namely understanding one's own self or one's constitutional position. Mataji, can you please? and the truth regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who follows the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is can very easily understand these two important divisions of spiritual knowledge. For him, there is no difficulty in obtaining perfect knowledge of the self as part of the parcel of the Lord. And such understanding is beneficial for such a person can easily understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. In the beginning of this chapter, the transcendental activities of the Lord were discussed by the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord Himself. One who does not understand the instruction of Gita is faithless and is, is to be understood, considered to be misusing the fragmental independence award to him by the Lord. In spite of such instruction, one who does not understand the real nature of the Lord as the eternal, blissful, all-knowing personality of Godhead is certainly a fool number one. Ignorance can removed by the by gradual acceptance of the principles of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is awakened by different types of sacrifices to the demigods, sacrifices to the Brahman, sacrifices in celibacy, in household life, in controlling the senses is in practicing mystic yoga, in penance, in foregoing material positions, in studying the Vedas, and in partaking of the social instruction called Varnasrama Dharma. All of these are known as sacrifice and all of them are based on the regulated actions. But within all these activities, the important factor is self-realization. One who seeks that objective is the real student of Bhagavad Gita, but one who doubts the authority of Krishna falls to back. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scriptures under a bona fide spiritual master with the service and surrender a bona fide spiritual master. He is in the disciplined succession from time eternal and he does not deviate all from the instructions of the Supreme Lord as they were imparted millions of years ago to the Sun God, from whom the instructions of Bhagavad Gita have come down to the earthly kingdom. One should therefore follow the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is expressed in the Gita itself and be aware of self-interested people after personal agreement who deviate others from the actual path. The Lord is definitely the Supreme Person and his activities are transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person from the very beginning of his study in Bhagavad Gita. Thus ends the Bhagavad Gita Bhakti Vedanta purports to the fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita in the matter of transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. So, in this last verse of this Bhagavad Gita, what he is saying is that Krishna is urging Arjuna to fight. Because, of course, they are on the battlefield. So what will Krishna say, Arjuna? That, okay, you just, get up and fight. Because Arjuna had turned to Krishna for, giving his second thoughts he had about fighting. And, it was unexpected from a Kshatriya that he will run away from the battlefield. And Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight. He's saying that fight with a sword. But Arjuna is an archer. He has a bow and an arrow. So what is even more unexpected, that Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight with a sword. So, a sword of knowledge. So, what is most unexpected is that he asks Arjuna to fight for destroying his inner doubts, and not his outer enemies. These doubts are like demons. So, so it is like a non-literal fighting, replace needed for a very literal fighting. So अंदर से अगर doubts है तो बाहर वो कैसे लड़ेगा? So basically it is actually the inner doubts is complementing the outer enemies. So while while he's telling Arjuna to fight literally against those who have, who have destroyed or disrupted the dharma, Krishna is expanding Arjuna's vision of his action. He's saying that as long as Arjuna has a narrow vision, then thinking that he is fighting against his relatives, or that he is fighting for gaining a kingdom, he will remain unsure whether this fight is a worthy fight, or whether this fight is worth its cost. So Arjuna is doubting. So how can Arjuna be sure that whether I am fighting, is the correct thing? So by fighting against the narrow vision that Arjuna has, and using this sword of spiritual knowledge, which will expose him and will expel his, his ignorant misconceptions. And when Krishna is highlighting that, see, these doubts we also have, right? It is a universal highlight for us also. We also have so many doubts. We may be also interested in a war fought thousands of years ago, and we may not have to fight a war ourselves. Still, we still have to fight against our inner misconceptions, which will make us, or which will stop us when, or which will impede us when we are facing those challenges. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving us, or he's providing us that sword of knowledge to rise from that ignorance to the light, or from the darkness to the light, or from the ambiguity to the clarity. So that is why by actually urging Arjuna to fight with the sword of knowledge, Krishna is deepening Arjuna's vision of this war that he's fighting, and he's expanding even our understanding that how is the Gita relevant for me? How is the Gita relevant for my own life? And that is why this word karma, in the first line, that is, yoga sannyasta karmanam, means only actually action. But the spirit in which Krishna is saying, says that is the results of action, he says. So Krishna is not recommending renouncing work, but renouncing the fruits of work. So that is why he told Arjuna that you get up and you fight. And Arjuna found these two verses contradictory. And that is why in the next chapter, he will question Krishna. In the beginning of the fifth chapter only, he will question that which is better, renunciation of work is better, or working with detachment is better. So he's going to question whether sannyas is better, or karma yoga is better. So this is what he's going to actually tell in the next shloka. So with that, I will rest my speech over here. If anybody has any doubts, questions, queries, you can ask. Because I have an exam at 10 o'clock. I'll be also giving an examination. I have an examination for Canto 10. And at 10 o'clock, I have to exactly be there. So if you'll have any doubts, questions, queries, you'll are free to ask me.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna,
I,
Prabhu.
yeah, in this last verse, God is Krishna is saying that read Bhagavad Gita, and then only we can be purified, and do not doubt on any spirituals, as it is saying that.
Yes.
So I am distributing books. So when I distribute the books, this young generation and some people say that, oh, this book is not for me, and so and so. So in this generation or in this time, how to convince them to read Bhagavad Gita? Can you please elaborately explain? Don't mind, please.
Yeah. So when we go out for book distribution, what we actually tell them that, see, you also must be having many doubts in your life, right? When you have doubts, you turn towards this page. Any doubt you have, you open any page of the Bhagavad Gita, and you will see to it that the solution to your doubt will be exactly on that page itself only. Because this has been tried and tested by many devotees and many people also, that when they have any doubt, no, they will turn towards Bhagavad Gita and immediately the doubts will be solved. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's Vani. So we should be very convinced, firstly, ourselves also, that yes, that any any difficulty I have or any doubt I have, but turn towards the Bhagavad Gita, I will get the solution to that particular question in the Bhagavad Gita itself only. And then with that same conviction, if we speak to the young generation, and they say, no, that, oh, this is not meant for me, right? This is not meant for youngsters. So then we say that, see, in the college also you go and take knowledge only, no, right? So that knowledge also you are taking, so you can take simultaneously this knowledge also, because this knowledge will enhance your that knowledge. This knowledge will bring clarity to your that knowledge that you're studying in the college, and it will help you to get better marks also. So you can say that spirituality has the answers to all the questions all around the world. And these books are time tested books. That is why we call it the Gita wisdom. These are wisdom books. And with these wisdom books only, you can shape your life the way you want it. For example, you can tell them that you have a goal in life, right? That I want to become so and so, I want to earn so and so, and I want to do. But you don't have clarity that how to go about that. So this Gita wisdom will give you that particular clarity. These wisdom books will give you the clarity that how to reach that particular goal, right? And that's how we actually convince them. And basically, Gita wisdom will give you clarity. From confusion to clarity, it will take you. Right now, everybody is confused, Prabhuji, right? So, but Gita will take us from confusion to clarity. And and that's how we can tell them that you can, clear all your doubts and have a very clear vision about your life and about the goal of your life. And only this book can help you and no other book can help you. That also conviction we should tell them. That this is the only book which can help you. No other book can help you. So if we have that conviction, take the books, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, mother.
Anybody else has any questions or doubts or queries? Okay. So, dear devotees, thank you so much for participating in this Gita Yagna and giving your active participation in the Bhakti Shastri course. since now we know that, okay, this knowledge only is going to give us a higher, better destination. So we'll be able to now study the Bhagavad Gita more concentratedly. And why we are studying the Bhagavad Gita? Now we have a purpose to it. Till now we didn't have so much of a purpose to read the Bhagavad Gita, but now we have a purpose to read the Bhagavad Gita. So thank you so much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you so much for giving me your good wishes, Shivangi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you.